everybody, it's your girl Nikki. I'm back with another video. I know I've been gone for like a whole week. Usually I try to give y'all a video every couple of days, but as you saw from my last vlog, I had my wisdom teeth removed and I had to recover. And like, I was gonna vlog for y'all on one day, but I 100% forgot my phone, so I couldn't vlog because that's what I usually vlog on. And like, so much happened that day, so today I just decided I was gonna do a story time and tell y'all about it. I wish I could have recorded it, but next time hopefully I have my phone and I'll be able to film for y'all. But stay tuned because there is some exciting content coming up, and I think y'all will like it, and another vlog is coming soon. So today we're gonna have a little bit of a story time. I have my tea. I don't know if y'all can read it properly on the screen. If it's mirrored, I can't see, but my cup says you are magical, and that's my words of affirmations for y'all today. You are magical. I'm sipping on some peppermint chamomile tea. I love tea. I don't really like flowery teas, but I love, other than that, I love like really earthy teas. I love peppermint tea. I love green tea. I love chamomile tea. I love pumpkin spice tea. So comment down below and let me know if y'all like tea, and if you like tea, what are some of your favorite teas. But get y'all some tea and sit back and relax because we're about to have a story time. Before we get started, I need you to do me a favor, and I need you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Watch a couple more videos. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button so you never miss a video. Make sure you turn on that notification bell so you get notified whenever I post a video. Like this video and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. I love to talk to y'all. So let's get started. Alright. So as you can see from the title, today is a story time about how I got scammed twice in 1 week. Okay? So let me tell y'all about what happened to me. So now that things are opening up again with COVID, especially in New York, I think it's important for me to, get my health in order, because like, being healthy is important. Being mentally healthy is important. Being physically healthy is important. Being spiritually healthy is important. All the ways that you could be healthy, I want to be healthy. So I've been scheduling doctor's appointments now that things are open up and offices are opening up, so I can make sure that your girl is nice and healthy. And so one of the appointments I made was a gynecology appointment. Now, no girl really likes the gynecologist, unless like you're pregnant and you're excited about being pregnant and you're going to the OBGYN. Like, nobody really likes to go to doctors like the gynecologist. But anyway, I scheduled an appointment for the gynecologist, and I just wanted to make sure everything was good down there. So I scheduled an appointment, and first of all, let me backtrack. This is the first incident within like a 24-hour period where I was almost scammed. Okay? But your girl is protected. So no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Okay? They did not win. But so anyway, I scheduled the doctor's appointment. Now, appointments, I don't know if it's like this across the country or it's just like this in New York, but like, every time you go to make an appointment, if you're not like bleeding profusely and it's not like an emergency, or like you don't have something that requires immediate attention, like, the wait list for stuff is so long when it comes to like a specialty doctor, and an OBGYN is a specialty doctor. So I was calling around to the doctor that I normally go to, but like the wait was like 2 months. And you know, I just wanted to get stuff checked out. So I went on ZocDoc. I don't know if any of y'all have ever used ZocDoc. And I don't want this video to get me in trouble with the brand, but I'm just gonna speak on it so that y'all are aware. So I went on ZocDoc, I searched for gynecology, I found a gynecologist. She was a person of color, so I was excited. And then I scheduled an appointment. And when I scheduled the appointment, when I went there, like I felt really at home, and like, you know, I was like, oh, this is really cool. I could see myself come here again. And then like when I was talking to the doctor and the support staff, I felt really comfortable. But when I went in there, I gave my insurance. And you know, usually when you go to the doctor, when you go to a new doctor's office you ain't never been before, they run your insurance, right? So I gave my insurance, and I assumed that she ran it because that is how like it works. And so I saw the doctor, and then they scheduled me to come back, and I'm okay and everything. But they scheduled me to come back for like a follow-up. And so I came back for the follow-up, and I do the appointment, and thankfully everything came back good. And when I'm checking out, the receptionist is like, oh, I haven't heard word back on your insurance, your health insurance, about whether or not you need to pay a copay. So I'm telling her, like, based on my insurance, like my copay for specialty doctors is $20. And so she's like, oh, okay. And then she looks at her computer and she's like, oh, well, based on today's visit, you have to pay a minimum. Well, you have like a balance of $113, and you have to pay a minimum of $75 today. So I looked at her and I'm like, why though? My copay for specialty doctors is $20. So even if I had 2 appointments, 20 plus 20 don't equal 75. And your girl ain't good at math, but I don't think that equals 75. So I'm like, huh? So she's like, yeah, you have a balance of $113. And I'm like, for what? And she was like, oh, because it seems like, you know, we haven't gotten an answer from your insurance. So anyway, if that don't make no sense to y'all, it didn't make no sense to me. So I was like, okay, well, I don't have my card on me, and that's a fact. I didn't have my debit card because I needed to get a new one. So I was like, I don't have my card on me. When I get my card, I'll contact you, or like when I get more information, I'll contact you. So she's like, okay, great, no problem. And she's like, okay, great, no problem. And when I get home, I'm like, why do I have to pay? Like, 113 don't sound right to me. Like, for all like the workups they did to me, like that should have costed like $1,000 in the healthcare system we have here in the United States. So I just didn't understand how that costed. Yo, y'all heard me? I don't understand how that cost $113. And I called my insurance, and I'm telling my insurance, like, don't y'all cover specialty visits? Like, isn't my copay only $20? Like, this doctor's office I went to, they tried to charge me $113, and I'm not really sure why. So can you tell me more about that? And my insurance was like, oh no, your copay is only $20. They should have just charged you $20 for the copay, and everything should have been covered with your insurance. So I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds about right with me. That's what I thought. And then the lady on the phone with the insurance that I have, she was like, but I don't see that a doctor that you're describing, or like the type of doctor, ran your insurance. So I'm like, what do you mean? I went and I saw this doctor twice. And she was like, yeah, but no doctor's office that you're speaking about ran your insurance. So she was like, I don't understand how they can charge you if they never ran your insurance. And I'm like, I don't understand either. I'm really confused by this whole situation. That's why I'm calling y'all. And she was like, well, I'm going to call the doctor's office. So she calls the doctor's office, and the doctor's office, the receptionist, she immediately recognized like what and who she was calling about, and all of a sudden like redirected the insurance woman calling on my behalf to the billing department. And then the billing department never answered, and it went straight to voicemail, like a cell phone voicemail. And I understand like things are different now that everybody's working remotely and using their personal phones for work in ways that we've never done in the past. But yeah, so like the fact that it went to voicemail was kind of like sketchy. So the insurance woman was like, I don't really understand where the 113 is coming from, so I'm going to mark this as like a scam and fraud, and so you should get some information in the mail. And then just let them know what happened, and we'll look into it, but you don't have to pay. Your insurance should cover it, and they never ran it, and they should have ran it. That's on them. And if they made a mistake and they were trying to make you pay for it, it still would have been like $1,000 and not 113. It just doesn't make sense. So thankfully I had the wherewithal to call the insurance company. Like, I'm like, that just don't sound right, because my insurance, my copay was $20. So I called, and it definitely worked out. Alright, so I'm not sure if this was the same day, because honestly, I don't know what was going on with that day. I think it was the same day. The same day I called a locksmith, because I wanted to have my lock changed, you know, for safety reasons. And I called the reputable locksmith in my area, and they were like, they gave, you know, I was like, I'm looking for a price to change my locks. And so they gave me a price, and I told them, okay, you could come, you know, Friday works best for me. And they were like, okay, yeah, Friday. So then, like 15 minutes later, somebody from their company calls and says, oh, like, I'm on my way to your house. Okay? I'm on my way to your house to change your locks. And I'm like, what do you mean you're on your way to my house to change my locks? Today's not Friday. I scheduled an appointment for Friday. So they were like, oh yeah, Friday, okay. And you know, I didn't think anything of it, because like, I'm like, okay, maybe that was like a scheduling mishap, or, you know, whatever, things happen. So Friday rolls around, the time when they're supposed to come change my locks, and nobody shows up. So I called the company number again, and I'm like, hey, I scheduled an appointment a few days ago to have my locks changed. It's the time y'all supposed to come, and nobody showed up. Like, what happened? Is somebody gonna come today? Like, what happened? And they were like, oh, nothing. Oh, nothing. So I was like, oh, we don't have you on our schedule, and we don't have record here that you ever made an appointment. So I'm like, huh? Like, I spoke to somebody, and they gave me a quote, they gave me all the information, they said they scheduled it. Like, what do you mean? Like, we're not on the schedule. So the guy on the phone was like, oh, well, I think I you know, the guy was like, oh, well, it wasn't us, because we don't have somebody we don't have you on our schedule. So then the manager got on the phone, and he was like, you need to be careful, because there's these like scammers that are impersonating my business, pretending to be my business, scheduling appointments, and then charging people double the price of like what we charge. And I'm like, okay. And then so I'm like, so can you put me on the schedule? They're like, oh, well, it's late in the day today, so the earliest we can have somebody out is tomorrow. And I'm like, that's perfectly fine. And then the person on the phone was like, oh, they're going to be looking like this. They're going to be wearing, they're going to be wearing this, so you know that it's us or whatever. And I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking to myself, like, what is wrong with people? How is this even happening? Like, what is happening with, like, humanity in the world? And, like, is there any more decency, right? So I'm, like, a little skeptical. So I'm like, even more reason why I need to have my locks changed, like, just cause. So then the next day comes and the person changed my locks. The locksmith comes and he's like, I'm telling him what happened. I'm like, yeah, so I went to schedule an appointment and these people answered and they said that they were y'all business, but your manager said that they weren't, and I was never on the schedule, so he put me on the schedule for today. And the guy changing my locks was telling me that the company had a lawsuit or a situation. I don't know if it was a lawsuit or a situation, but nonetheless, it was on the news, right? And these people were pretending to be the business and clone the lines and cross the line somehow, so that when people called the company's phone number, that it redirected some of the calls to them, and they were able to charge people crazy amounts of money and just take business from them. And they ended up getting caught. The scammers ended up getting caught, and it was on the news and everything. He was like, but this happened like 6 years back. So I'm looking at him and we're looking at each other, and I'm like, well, they're back because they tried to charge me. They said they were going to come and then they never came, and it was just weird. So I changed my locks and, everything was good. Everything was fine. And then the day after I changed my locks, I want to say, at like 2 o'clock in the morning, we get a phone call. And the phone call is like, hey, I'm calling from such and such. Do you still want to change your locks? And this is at 2 a.m. in the morning. Like, no locksmith, no business, no reputable company that don't have anything to do with nighttime or nightlife or anything like that should be calling, like, do you want to change your locksmith? Like, do you want to change your lock? So we're like, no, like, that was already taken care of. Like, don't call my number again. Like, so I was just like, twice in 1 week. But I'm sharing this story to like, share with y'all, bring attention to y'all. If something sounds like not right, like, you're not obligated to do something. So, like, if a doctor's office is asking you to pay something and it just don't sound right to you, or like they're asking you to pay something like a copay and it sounds like ridiculous amounts of money, like, if you have insurance and you're not paying out of pocket, if you have insurance, like, you don't have to pay up front. You can always tell them to bill you. You can call your insurance. You can ask your insurance. There are people out there that, like, can support you and give you the information that you need. So don't feel pressured to ever, like, have to act on something right away. You are entitled to gathering more information and pondering your decision. And also, like, even with the locksmith scam situation, again, like, always safety first. I mean, these people, you invite, like, technicians and people into your home and, like, to do certain things, and, like, it's really important to make sure you're speaking to the right people. So, like, in that case, we waited till the time the people were supposed to come to call. But in hindsight, like, I should have called earlier. And next time, if I do have to get a service like that, I will call earlier just to confirm that, like, everything's okay. I'm on the schedule. Like, it's not annoying to confirm and follow up with something that you scheduled to do. And make sure, like, you ask who you should be waiting for, what their name is, what their uniform might look like. Are they going to be carrying some form of ID? You know, safety is really important. And you always want to be prepared for those things, especially when you're going to be allowing somebody into your house, because stranger danger is real. And I want us all to be safe. But yeah, so that is my story about how I got scammed 2 times in 1 week. I hope you enjoyed. I hope none of y'all have gotten scammed, but if you have, write it down in the comments. Let me know. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. I'm so glad you're here. Check out some other videos. I'll put some other videos in the iCards for you. But until next time, peace, love, and butterflies. Bye.